Well, the government says it's doing everything possible to contain the avian flu, which has seen over 7 million chickens culled. The Agriculture Department has allowed for eggs and poultry meat to be imported. But for more on this, let's bring in the department's Deputy Director General for Production, Biosecurity and Natural Resources Management. That's Dipepeneneng Serage. Mr. Serage, thank you so much for your time and a very warm good morning to you. Do you know the origins of the avian flu, which I understand has costed around 7 million chickens to be culled? Upon your investigations, where did it first emanate from?
Good morning and good morning to your viewers. We can track easily. It emanated from the northern countries, that is in the northern hemisphere, and it comes from, as we have already been saying, from wild birds. And as the birds migrate, running from winter and going to summer in the southern, from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, that's where we think the disease migrated from.
Yeah, and the number that we continue to talk about as the media and even here on eNCA is 7 million chickens that have been culled so far. What are the numbers looking like from where you stand? Is it still at 7 million, or do you see more and more chickens still being culled?
Not a lot, but the number is not stable. But let's just explain that the chickens, that there's two categories. There's chickens that would normally slaughter for consumption. That is what we call broiler chickens, the ones that for meat. And we've got chickens that are for eggs.
Right.
And so in this 7.5 million or 7 million that we're speaking of, basically we say it's 1/3 of the population, the herd. The ones that we are worried about are the ones for egg production. As you know, the eggs, we get two types of eggs, ones that are fertilized, which would give us chickens, and we've got eggs that we call table eggs. These are the eggs that we consume during breakfast on a day-to-day. So the numbers that we worried most about are the ones that would be for what you call parent stock, or the ones that would give us other chickens. Other eggs that we consume, they do not necessarily, they're not fertilized, so it's not a big worry. But yes, like you've said, we are working on ensuring that we import more eggs, especially to replenish the stock of the layered stock, so that we have enough chickens that will continue to give us chickens and eggs.
Yeah. Also in terms of biosecurity measures, and I suppose this also going to farmers alike, what's your messaging right now in terms of the importance of ensuring that biosecurity measures are up to standard?
Yes, that's a very critical point you're touching. You'd have noticed that we recently reported that the H7 strain was picked up in the Western Cape. This is a consignment that moved from the Northwest. And that is a biosecurity recklessness, because during this time, we don't expect farmers to be moving chickens and related just willy-nilly. So we are concerned that the farmers are not observing what they know they should observe, which are basic biosecurity conditions. They shouldn't have just moved chickens while we're in the middle of the outbreak. So what we'll be doing as a department is we are going to start enforcing or introducing regulations that would in fact make it illegal to move chickens without authorization. It is because we've noticed, like you've mentioned, that some farmers, not all of them, of course, some farmers are getting reckless and they're chasing profit at the expense of the entire country. So yes, there's a biosecurity issue. In fact, if all our biosecurity measures were in check, we wouldn't be here, because you can ask, if the disease is spread by wild birds, how does it get into the basic poultry houses, which are supposed to be biosecure environments, but we still have the outbreak.
Right. Mr. Serage, without assuming that everyone understands the intricacies that go into, production as far as broilers and layers and eggs are concerned, and significantly avian flu, perhaps explain to us what exactly avian flu, how contagious it is, and how severe of a risk is it to production if, to your point, all these biosecurity measures are not in place?
Yes, it's a virus, and virus spreads quite quickly. And what we're scared with the virus is that if it mutates, we may not be able to catch it, because it then changes into something that we may not have any measure to deal with. So it's a virus. As you know, all viral diseases are then be taken seriously, because viruses, unlike bacteria, viruses mutate, change form, so you won't be able to trace it. So hence, we shouldn't be infected as a country. So this is a very serious. The H7 strain is the one that is we worried about because it's highly pathogenic. That's why you call it highly pathogenic. It means it can easily spread, and it's also very serious in the cases where it has established itself. And we worried that if we continue and farmers continue being not observing biosecurity rules and basic biosecurity laws, we may end up with the virus mutating. And that's what we worried about and scared about. We don't want it to get to that. Yeah. Hence, we're talking now in the department. It's something that we've never done before. We're having serious discussions about vaccination because we realized that over the years, all we do is to cull stock and hope we'll be fine. And then come the same season around when the wild birds would have moved from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, as you'd have seen all the years, you then have the outbreak. So we're going to first introduce two things. One, we're going to control movement of chickens anywhere in the country. And secondly, we're going to come up with vaccination. We're looking into the science and the safety. At the moment, we've already approved vaccinations for the other strain, the H5 strain. So we're looking into other means in which we can find a way of vaccinating so that if this, as you know, vaccination does not stop the disease, it just makes the chickens in this case to continue living and become a bit tolerant, if you like. Yeah. So that's what we are doing as a department at the moment.
And I suppose my last question to you, you did explain, of course, of the efforts that you're currently doing as the Agriculture Department as far as allowing for imported eggs, right, into the country. I suppose South Africans wanting to know how soon can they see their eggs on the shelves, and also what are the cost implications here, because the fear around eggs right now is also the price that they may have to pay.
Yes, we have imported actually already. We from 1st of September, we've already imported a lot of eggs. We've imported a lot of egg powder, and egg powder is the one that's mainly used in the baking environment. And we've also imported day-old chicks. Day-old chicks are the ones that would either give us a parent stock or either give us chickens that will lay eggs, or which is our main worry. I need to emphasize this one. Our main worry is to be able to replenish and ensure that we've got the egg-laying chickens that we have culled, and we don't want those to be culled because those are supposed to have a lifespan of around 11 months giving us eggs. So if we find ourselves in a situation like we are now, where we have to cull them, it becomes a big worry for us. So that part we are taking care of. So what we will be trying to do is the eggs that we are importing now would mainly be for consumption and as well as for replenishing the stock. And so far, you asked about the price. Yeah. There's discussion. Our minister is in discussion with the Minister of Department of Trade, Industry and DTIC to ensure that the importers receive rebates so that they don't pass on the tariff or to the consumers. We're looking into that. So that has been taken care of. There's a lot of discussions happening. We are aware that if you import, obviously there will be charges, transportation, and at the moment we have imposed some years back the import tariff so as to protect the poultry industry in the country. But at this stage, we don't seem to have an option. We just have to lift the tariffs and also rebate the importers so that they don't pass on the price to the consumers.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us about this very important conversation in as far as the efforts of the Department of Agriculture are concerned in ensuring that there are eggs on the shelf, but also that those costs are not passed on to consumers alike. So thank you so much to Mr. Dipepeneneng Serage from the Department of Agriculture.